Did you see the discussion in the Skype study group? But basically, what John Henry did is he took the introduction of the 13th and 15th Amendment and put it in his own words, which is what I was actually doing, though he got further in it than what I was doing. That's to get my own understanding, so I can explain it when asked. The sentence in the document are very precise but quite long, and in conversation you need to break it up for people. But it's all there. He didn't really change anything of what Patrick said. Just had it presented as one little idea at a time, so people could grasp it. So it's something we should all do when we look at the documents that Patrick produces. Try to put them in our own words so that we can explain it to people.
Right. Did you take out? They're pretty pointed letters. I mean, when you sent that to the Attorney General, it's almost like fighting words in there.
Yeah.
Did you?
No, I left that in there.
Okay, it's Pat. I'm on the call right now.
Hi, Patrick.
Okay.
Hey,
what
Patrick.
are the fighting words in there? That we're trying to defend America against a foreign English statutory law controlled judicial bankers, bar attorneys that are out here running the country? Yeah, it's going to be threatening to them because we're exposing them for the frauds that they are.
Right.
They're not operating under constitutional law, okay? They're operating under their construction law system, constructive trust. And that's where the word con comes in, constructive. See, they can't create anything. They can only construct something. Okay, as a corporation constructs something. And that's what they've tried to do. They've constructed something that is in violation of the contract that's out here known as the Constitution with the people, whether it be the state constitution or whether it be the national constitution of this country. That's a contract with the people. That's contract law. All this other law out here is constructive law that basically they have to basically get your consent into that constructive law system. All these courts are foreign courts. You call them upon it. Is this a valid court of America, or is this a foreign court operating under English statutory laws? If it is, I don't have to be here. Where's the law that says I have to be and I have to show you respect in this damn foreign court? Where does it say that I am under your jurisdiction? All this stuff took place basically over the last 100 years, well, a little more than the last 100 years, since 1871, and it's been a remake of the East India Company that we ran out of this country, or our founding fathers ran out of this country with the Declaration of Independence. We've allowed it back into this country. Now, certain laws were put into place to try and protect against that and give the people protections, and some of those were the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, because they knew they were going to try and turn this country back into a penal slave country, because that's the only way that England can operate. with a penal slave colony. That's what they had down in Australia. That's what they've had all around the world in their English empire monarchy system. But our founding fathers knew better than that and tried to prevent that in the process. We are the grantors out here. We have to basically open up the treasury of the country. We're the only ones that have a key to that treasury. The government can't go in there once the assets are put into that treasury. They don't have the key. The people have the key, as we are the inheritors of that treasury. Now, these documents that I posted up there, that Amendment 13, 14, 15 document, it was just to basically try and get you to understand what was going on here. Okay? Putting a little detail down there. What you do with it, I don't care. I'm just going to hand it out as a handout. Here, you read this. I don't have to sit here and explain this to you. You better be able to know how to read. The government violations of office. That document, too. I've basically made that as a handout. And then the other one that I put up there was about jeopardy. Well, basically, they're doing double dipping against us out here. Double jeopardy in everything they do. You get a traffic ticket. You signed a bond, okay, on most of those traffic tickets, an appearance bond. Well, you've given them the funds right then and there by your signature. You gave them credits. They took those credits and then put them over into this Executor ex-con account under that driver's license number. And then they're getting you under double jeopardy to come in and basically pay out of your back pocket, or triple jeopardy and go to jail. You've already given them the credits to pay for that traffic ticket, even though you never should have in the beginning, because you should never have been classified as a driver to begin with. You signed that driver's license, you became the beneficiary, a foreign beneficiary, under this foreign trust that they set up with that driver's license. Same thing with the certificate of title to your vehicle. That's a foreign trust. Just like going down to the local bank, you're setting up a foreign trust. A constructive foreign trust. A con game. The first three letters of constructive is con. So it's a con game. Okay?
Yep.
And that's all you have to do is surrender that ex-con, the executor of the con game. You're turning in. And that's what I tried to make this as simple as possible. One document out here to send into the U.S. attorneys. Here, I'm surrendering this foreign ex-con. Now prosecute him. He's committing treason against the country. It's that simple, people. He's the mob boss over your mob that you're running here. You have a bunch of little mobsters running around, and you're turning in the kingpin, the chief executor, the mastermind account. this ex-con, and basically he's a foreign ex-con, and you're going to get the rewards. You're a bounty hunter now. I tried to make this as simple as possible so that basically it can't be rebutted. You don't need to turn those into any letters or anything like that. I did away with all those other things that I was doing because basically I was sitting there thinking about this, and basically the executor, and I don't know where I came up with thinking about, well, X. And I said, ex-con. And then I got thinking about it, yeah, con man, basically this is a con game, a con trust. And basically they've constructed a trust, they constructed a man, an executor. It's all by construction. That's the same way they do with most all the gambling games out there in the casinos. They're constructed games. They're not created, they're constructed. A corporation can't create anything, but they can construct things, and that's a con. So all these last several documents that I posted up there were just for your benefit to try and get you to see what was going on. The main one is that ex-con manumission to the U.S. attorney example. You turn around, put your Social Security card on there, and then you sign, and this is coming in as we, two people, or one people and one person. However you want to look at it. You're coming in and you're surrendering this as basically you are the grantor, and you are also now an ex-beneficiary. So you've left being a mobster, and now you're turning state's evidence. So now you're going to go into the witness protection program because you're turning in this, you're witnessing against this ex-con, this mobster, mastermind account, foreign mastermind account. This is played out numerous times in the movie. And then basically when you're in the witness protection program, you turn in your receipts, and basically they turn around and pull out more funds for you to stay in the witness protection program. This ain't that complicated, people. And see, basically, like I had in the one document there, this is all under constitutional contract law, okay? We have a contract. You don't have a contract with all these other codes of law. Show me the contract. Where does it say, we the people agree to do all this stuff under these codes of law? It's not there. Mm-hmm. We have a very simple contract. The state constitution, the Constitution of the United States of America, and basically its first 15 amendments. Because from the 16th on, they're all with the foreign United States corporation. They're con articles or amendments. I don't know. You guys have any problems with this? I mean, it's pretty damn simple, really.
All right.
Okay, open it up for questions, comments.
Patrick, I sent in the original version on Saturday. There's no problem with just sending in the corrected version right away, right?
You what?
I sent in the manumission on Saturday with the revision. There's no problem with just sending in the revision without comment.
No, you don't need to resend another one in. You sent one in, leave it.
Okay.
Just sit tight. Stop fidgeting, okay?
Okay.
Wait and see what happens.
Will do.
They will more than likely contact you out of this.
Okay.
They've got to act, okay? They've got to respond to this. When you basically put a charge in, when you bring a charge against somebody, you have to put it into the prosecuting attorney.
Yes.
Okay? Then he issues the warrant out to the sheriff to go and arrest somebody. That's what we're doing. We're going to the U.S. attorneys. They can then issue the warrants out to go and arrest the rest of the mob that's under this mastermind. We've given him the main account number to go and bring all the other little mobsters into jail.
It sounds like just the turnover we need to have in this nation.
That's all that needs to be done. You need to turn around and get this in. And they can't rebut this action. It's a foreign item right off the bat. It's basically in violation of the 14th Amendment. What are they going to do? Say the 14th Amendment don't apply?
Right.
They do, and they are acting then in open rebellion against the country. And they're not going to do that. No, this is something that basically these two documents, that government violation of office and basically the other one about the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, print those out. When the U.S. Marshals or Secret Service or the FBI, whoever, the men in black come to see you, hand them out. Take a copy down to your local sheriff's office. Take a copy into your attorney or prosecuting attorney, county attorney. Take it into your county commissioners. I took a copy of this down to my sheriff on Friday and gave it to him. Basically, I talked to him. I told you on the last call that basically I talked to him. I met him in Dollar General store. And I said that I had some documents that I was going to get to him. And he wanted to know more about it. He said he's going to read the 13th Amendment. Well, I went in there and saw him, and I gave it to him. And he said, yes, I'll read this because basically you're about one of the only ones that supposedly knows what's going on. The U.S. Marshals and basically the Secret Service have basically informed this sheriff here that basically I am not a totally crazy person, that I know something about the law. And basically that sheriff more or less reiterated that right in front of several of his deputies to me.
Wow.
And then the only thing I have to do now is take a copy of this surrender and emancipation document into him, and basically he can file it and get out of the system too.
when you say by not complying with the American laws and their penal slave, quote, X con-man courts, you're meaning the executor. You're saying ex-con man, but you're meaning executor con man courts, right? EX.
They set up, we basically gave them a letter of credit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we were the grantor.
Right.
Now, they took that letter of credit, they set up a constructive charitable trust out here.
Yeah.
Even your mortgages are constructive charitable trust for the banks. Okay? The banks never loaned you any money. You had to be the grantor of the credits coming out of the de jure treasury because they took all the money away from us. So the only thing that we can do is draw credits from the de jure treasury.
Right.
So many people have this totally misunderstood about where the credits and everything are coming from. They don't know that that treasury belongs to we the people. That's our treasury. That's where the assets are coming out of. Now, they turn around and put it into an ex-con or an executor constructive account, a con account, ex-con, executor con account. And that's under a Social Security number. So the credits are sitting there, but they can't move out of there. And then the bankers or whoever, they write liens against those. And then they try and cause us harm, saying, well, you haven't paid for this. You haven't paid for this. Yes, we did. We gave you a letter of credit. And basically, you were supposed to be able to draw from that letter of credit to pay the bill, but you didn't. That's why it says, basically, debts, obligation, claims of credit owed shall be held illegal and void. That's out of the Section 4 of the 14th Amendment. Because they have gone in and they're using liens out here against our credits, so they're already paid. So we don't owe them a double jeopardy. When I signed out of the hospital, I signed a release form. I released the credits to them. I'm not responsible for what the hell they did with the credits after I released them to them. I don't owe them anything else. I gave them the credits. Just because they put it over here in another account, and see, that's what happens when you turn around and you revoke being the beneficiary. They want you to be a foreign beneficiary, to join their foreign corporation. Disavow it. That's what the statute at large, volume 4 or volume 15, section or chapter 249 was all about. Was disavowing being a beneficiary in this foreign corporation or foreign trust, contrast. And see, the railroads out here have been doing a lot of this contrast out here all across, going across the nation before the Civil War. They were operating under contrast, getting the government to basically grant them land and then basically hoodwinking the government into paying twice and three times for the damn stuff. History out there is for the benefit of the people. Okay? It's not just for bullshit out here. It's for enlightenment. Go back and see what took place leading up to some of this stuff, and basically you might find some of the answers.
Well, that 14th Amendment, Section 4 is pretty heavy. That's
yes, and Section 3 is very heavy against them.
Yeah.
And Section 1 protects us in the process. They can't infringe upon our rights. But you have to know which set of laws you're operating under. You're operating under the contracted system of laws, not the uncontracted system of laws. And all these other laws out here are uncontracted. They have to get you to volunteer into those laws, into those court systems. Yeah, for the contracted system of laws in this country, there can't be a female judge. There can't be a female representative. I'm sorry to say that, women, but that's the true fact. Only in the uncontracted system of laws, or the foreign laws in this country, can a woman be in those positions. Just like the un-American Hillary Clinton. Okay. Any questions, comments?
I like it. I think it's great. I like this. I'm reading your con violations of office. This is great.
No, you don't have to do anything with that right now. You can drop the copy off down to the local newspaper, whatever.
Right.
I like that.
Just hand it out.
Yeah.
Go out and stick it on a bulletin board. You don't have to put your signature on these documents or anything, okay?
Right.
You're just making people aware of what this is, and that's the problem. People have never been aware of what the real Constitution is out here because it's never been put in front of them properly. And then basically the only thing you have to do is that one-page document. Put it in a certified envelope, just one page. Sign it as basically the beneficiary, your first, middle, and last name as the son of the father, and then you as the birthing person are the father. And your first and middle name or just first name of the family, whatever, because you're not dead. But your fictional right-hand son of man basically can have a last name because basically you want to give him a last name. Here, I'm not going to change your name on you. So it's going to be your full name until you die. I might switch over and make my left-hand person with a different last name. I don't know. But you have the possibility to do that. Because, see, you are a creator. You are not a construction. No corporation constructed the human body. The spirit did. That's who is the real creator out here. Because you're just a blob if you don't have a spirit in the driver's seat. You turn in your ex-cons. Stop being the executor or the grantor, or not the grantor, but the guarantor or the surety con man. This whole system is basically a shell game. Hide the P from the man, from the grantor, and the real American beneficiary. And then get you to play their game. Hang in there. And basically they will wear the hell out of you and wear you down. Just ask me. I have gambled probably more than any of you guys out here. And probably more places around the world than most of you too.
They might as well be shooting guns at our feet and making us dance. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, and they will wear you down, okay? Yeah. Just like in any casino out there. Basically, they will give you certain freebies to keep you playing there. The longer you play, the more you're likely you're going to lose. Because they keep thinking, getting you to think you're going to win. You're going to win big. And you just don't know when to walk. I said all wrong that basically this country right now is one of the biggest casinos in the world. Because it's all a con game. You can basically send these documents over to some of these other websites, these talk shows. You got the emails. Send them out to some of these other groups, whatever. Get them to understand that it's one simple little document. That's all you have to do. In other words, you're saying no.
Yep. Yeah, no.
And that's all that it is. No, I am not going to play your game any longer. Where's the contract that says you have to have a driver's license? Where's the contract that says you have to turn over your vehicle over to the state and make them a beneficial owner? Where's the contract that says you have to turn your house, your private property, over to the state so that they can become a beneficial owner and reap a profit off of it? Where's the contract? There is no contract. They just get you to voluntarily give it up to them. It's about time the American people start standing up and walking out of these casinos. These governmental casinos. And these foreign banking casinos. I have no problem if you want to go to the Indian reservation and have a little fun playing with the one-armed bandits, but basically you're probably going to lose, but you won't lose as big as what you're losing here. As long as you go there primarily for just enjoyment, okay? You're paying for the enjoyment or for the education. You've got to know what you're looking for, okay? But I'll tell you right now, you're not getting very much enjoyment or education from complying with all these fraudulent governmental and corporate banks out here. They're the ones that are just laughing their ass off at you. And the same thing with all these damn courts.
Well, that's what con men want to do. They want you to sign over your stuff to them. Oh, yeah, sign your bank account over to us. We'll give you lots of interest.
Yes,
Yeah.
But what you do when you go into these courts, you take the driver's license, you take the traffic tickets, and you sign them over to the prosecuting attorney. You surrender that ex-con over to the prosecutor. Let him liquidate the accounts. Demand a forensic audit of the account. You're going to have him shaking in his damn boots. Because, see, all those prosecuting attorneys out here in this court system are operating under the Attorney General's office. Just like these U.S. attorneys are operating under the federal Attorney General's office, who is one of the trustees out here over the American trust, the Treasury. But they can't access the Treasury. Only we, the people, can. We have the key. We have the code. The coded key, our birth certificate registration number. And then with our 98 number, that is our bank routing number to route the funds out of that Treasury.
That's the foreign.
We also have our individual bankers, private bankers, individual bankers EIN number as a bank routing number to route the receipt, reimbursement, or the rewards back out of the Federal Reserve Bank that are being held in the reserve account, the tariff tax reserve account. And we will send those receipts in also to the Attorney General's office. Those attorneys, U.S. attorneys that are operating under the U.S. Attorney General's office, and basically there's more accountants there than you can shake a stick at, they've got all the computers. A lot of this has been well documented in a lot of different movies out here. I said this all along, that basically the movies are telling you little things. It may be only a one-liner in the movies, but basically it's a key one-liner. There's always a moral to the story.
It makes you feel good to learn this stuff, though, Pat, just for my comment. I mean, it's, you know, we want to get our purpose, our reason, our whatever to be here on Earth. We want our legacy to be real, not stolen. We could be doing way more than we're doing. This country, like, they put the brakes on so hard, it's stopped just about. The only thing they're selling is war. There's all the thing they're buying is bullets. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and basically, the whole thing about this is basically if you would have been following along and not following all the other garbage out here and spend the time on what I was trying to say, you'd have the full understanding. I tried to give you all the information as I came across it out here. Hell, there should have been some people on this group that basically should have thought this shit up faster than I did. But if you're getting conflicting information and then you're out there trying to argue the situation, you're never going to learn. You're sitting there putting your quarters into that one-armed bandit and then beating the hell out of it. It ain't going to work.
Right. It's a con game, right. A lot of people go to the casinos. I don't go there, but I mean, there's one around here. It pulls in about $240 million a year. That's what they admit to.
Yeah, and basically, what's the government doing? How many millions are they pulling in?
Yeah. Yeah, way more than that.
Yeah, they're a bigger casino than these other ones are.
Not much to show for it either. Just puts it in their pocket.
Yeah, well, then they're paying off the bankers. These foreign bankers that never risk anything out here, that are out here causing insurrection against the people and the country.
Hey, that being the case, where's the military in all this?
They can't do anything as long as you are operating as a foreign beneficiary. Until you renounce being a foreign beneficiary and you turn in your ex-con, then you go into the witness protection program, and the military will protect you then. The FBI, the Secret Service, the U.S. Marshals, they'll protect you. Now you're in the witness protection program, being protected against these foreign entities out here because you're no longer tied to them. But they can't do anything until you do what you have to do. The casinos. The cops really can't protect you while you're in the casino. You step out of the casino, then the cops can protect you. But you screw up in the casino, and basically you'll get taken to one of the dark rooms and beaten the living shit out by the damn casino mobsters. How many times has that been played out in the movies? And see, half the military doesn't even realize this stuff. Some of the U.S. Marshals don't realize this. But they know once you get onto the green sheet or into the witness protection program, they have to treat you differently. But they don't, in all cases, fully know why. That's why when the men in black come to see you, hand them these 2 copies. about the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, and then also the other document that I have there. Give them copies of them. Say, here, you might read this. You might learn something. You might want to come out. You could turn around and write up an ad and put it in a damn newspaper. Just put it in as a notice. Notice, you want to come out of the system? Do this. Get the people to really start thinking. The problem is, most people want to sit back and let everybody else do the thinking for them, or basically do everything for them. That's what the problem with this whole damn country is. The people in this country have never really taken the responsibility of knowing the real laws in this country. And all these real laws are basically founded upon the Bible. And all these damn ministers out here that are on all these talk shoes and everything else, and basically then all the churches that are on Sunday and everything, they're all cons. They don't want to know what the real law is. They don't want to know what the Bible really says. And this same system has been played out over the years for thousands and thousands of years. This goes all the way back to Moses' time, even further back than that, all the way back to Abraham's time, even further back than that, all the way back to Cain and Abel. Even back to Eve. All she wanted was the fruit off the tree of knowledge. She didn't want to understand what the tree of knowledge was all about. She just wanted the fruit. The frying pan or the toaster, like they handed out back in the 50s and 60s to get you into a fraudulent banking system and get away from the de jure banking system of the post office in this country.
Right.
What do you mean, Patrick? They gave out frying pans? For what?
You get an account at the bank.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I remember that, toasters.
They used to give you a glass if you bought some gas at Shell station. They gave you a set of glasses.
Yeah, but to open up a bank account back there in the 50s and 60s, yeah, they'd hand out a free frying pan or something like that.
Toasters, everything.
Yeah, to try and get new customers into the bank.
Oh, wow.
You don't know about that?
Uh-uh.
How old are you?
Old enough I didn't know that.
Huh?
Old enough I didn't know it.
Oh, you're young enough that you didn't know that.
Or young
okay.
enough, young enough, but just on the edge, I think. That's too funny.
That was in the blue chip and green stamp era.
What's a blue chip green stamp?
See, you're too young. Okay.
You
gotta
got
go back and
stamps
talk
when you
to your
bought
mom
things,
and dad.
groceries and stuff. You got stamps, and then you got a credit.
Yeah, I remember
you got
them
a
talking
coupon.
about stamps at the store, at the grocery store.
Yeah, basically it was sort of a receipt, an additional kickback to you that they were giving to you. You just didn't know that you could have taken that whole receipt and turned it in and cashed it in to the Federal Reserve Bank by way of the U.S. attorneys and the U.S. Marshals and have them go and draw the funds out of that account. Used to be, you should have been able to go into the post office and turn those receipts in, and because the Postmaster General was also one of the trustees over basically that Federal Reserve Bank, also the Secretary of the Treasury, the Postmaster General, and the Attorney General are the three main trustees over the tariff tax fund reserve that is held in the Federal Reserve banks, and also into the credits that are being held in the de jure treasury, we the people's treasury of the country. And that's well documented all the way back into the either the late 1700s or early 1800s.
Yeah,
in the first volume of Statutes at Large. This was not supposed to be a debtor's country. The debts, your debts, were supposed to be paid. Now, if you caused harm or damage to somebody, you were going to have to be punished.
Yeah.
But if you had a debt that you couldn't pay, you had the full faith and credit of the country behind you, because the full faith and credit was really the treasury of the country. You were an inheritor of that treasury. So you had a right to draw against that treasury to pay any debt you had.
Well, so you're saying they could have taken the stamps or whatever the blue chip thing is, and they could have sent them in?
Well, no, the stamps, the green stamps and stuff like that, you redeemed right there with that company.
Yeah, because they, like on Florida, they did have a store called Albertsons, and you could get, look like stamps, sort of.
Yes, but that was just a kickback from that individual company. You couldn't take those down to the post office and cash those in, or to the U.S. Treasury. You have to take your receipt from that company, the white receipt that you get, and then you turn that in, because basically there is no money out here, and basically the debt in this country, the national debt, is really the debt that the corporate United States owes to the people. And that debt is being held in the Federal Reserve banks, and all we have to do is go in and claim it from them. But we had to know where to go to claim that.
Right.
And you have to get into the witness protection program, and then, like in several of the movies in the witness protection program, basically when you do that, you turn your receipts into the U.S. Marshals or whoever, and basically they will reimburse you for those receipts.
Well, you talked about that before, with the marshals and the witness protection.
Yes, but see, we have to get into the witness protection. We are witnessing against this foreign corporation, and then we will be protected from them down the road. So you do not want to ever recontract with them. Never get a certificate of title to the vehicle. Never sign over and get a certificate of title to the house. You buy the house, that now becomes private property. And they cannot touch private property without giving you full compensation.
And due process.
Yeah, see, if they come in after you get out of this stuff and get into the witness protection program, they are now committing an act of war against a protected American citizen.
Okay.
That's why I try to write several things and keep it as simple as possible in that document, that manumission document to the U.S. Attorney. I don't think you can make it any simpler than that.
Yeah. It's just very strange that people would offer a toaster or whatever you said to open an account. If it was that easy to get the people to do that, I mean, can you imagine today? I mean, it's like.
Well, why would they offer a toaster?
I don't know.
Because they're going to make buku profits off of you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what transpires?
It's a con game. Have you ever gone to Vegas or any casino?
I've been in one. I didn't play.
Okay.
I've been in.
Have you ever got offered a free shrimp cocktail?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the same thing. They're trying to keep you in that bank so that you put your money in there. They turn around and they don't. When you write a check out, your check is not being written from your deposit that you deposited.
Yes, I'm aware of that. What I'm saying is it's just hard to believe that at that time when that was happening, that the people didn't realize that they were leaving, going out of the de jure, going into de facto. I mean,
because they just came out of two major world wars, okay? World War I and World War II. And basically, the people were so happy and relieved. And basically, they thought the government was fully behind them. They went and fought overseas when they were not supposed to be fighting overseas.
Right.
They were duped into those wars.
Yeah.
So if they could dupe people into going overseas and fighting for them, the bankers out here, doing their dirty work for them, they could dupe anybody into anything. And basically, they just took it to the next level.
Exactly. That's my point. My concern is if after all that they could so easily, with a toaster or whatever, be put into that system. How today it would seem like it would be multiple times easier because people are more brain dead, so to speak.
Because everybody is ingrained that you have to have a public bank account.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't live without it. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can live without it.
Yeah.
You will get a debiting card that now has credits on it, and all you have to do is hand that card over. You can do wire transfers out here wherever you want to. Have it sent to somebody else's account. You don't need a bank account, a public bank account. You will have a treasury banking account under your bank routing number, your 98 series number, and then your redemption bank account under your individual banker's EIN number.
Well, if all this was fraud, and all the banks and all these things, everything, if all this has been based on fraud and non-full disclosure, and if things do break down more than they are, what did
because they controlled the attorneys, all these bar attorneys. Who taught them? These colleges. They never taught them real law.
Yeah.
That's the problem. These people don't know the real law. Most of those judges and everything, they're basically have mortgages. They have bank accounts too. They think that they're operating in the real system, and they're not.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're being duped. I mean, these female judges think that they're a real goddamn judge. Just ask them. They're not. They're a fraud. They're a foreign. They're operating under that damn bitch over there in England, the Queen of England, basically known in the Bible, book of Revelation, as basically the whore of Babylon. And that damn queen is a damn right, outright whore. Just like Hillary is trying to be the whore of America. But she's a bull dyke whore. No, the thing is, basically, you want out of the system, basically understand what I just put up here. That damn simple.
Right.
And then basically you try and go out there and help other people gain the knowledge. Moses did this. Daniel did this. Jesus tried to do this. Held a seminar for 5,000 people, and basically how many showed up at his damn trial? Very few of them. He had to come back around and spend 40 more days with them to a group of people trying to explain what the hell he just did. Prove to that doubting Thomas that basically he'd come out of the system. Just like half the people on these damn calls. They're doubting Thomases. They couldn't think shit out of it. They couldn't work themselves out of a wet paper bag. Because they doubt. They don't have belief. They don't believe that the real laws in this country will come to light once you enforce them. But you have to do it. You don't wait for some damn military or something like that out here. ARP, American Free Press rag, Alex Jones in his prison planet bullshit. They're out there trying to incite the people, not to really educate the people. Ron Paul and his bullshit. He was in office for how many years? He was in total violation of the Constitution. But people still support the damn nitwit. They put those items into the Constitution about you cannot be an inhabitant of the office and run for the office at the same time. In there for a purpose, so that the government officials would not be controlled by the bankers. So that the bankers did not know who they had to try and basically bribe in the damn government.
How do you prove that, though? That they're inhabitants, and how do you prove that, though? That they're inhabitants in the office at the same time?
Read the definition about inhabitant. It's right in the Constitution. It's in a lot of the state constitutions, too. The word inhabitant means you cannot be sitting in that office. You are an inhabitant of that office. You are holding that office, a government office. That even means that as a governor of the state, you can't run for senator of the state while you're in office as a governor. While you're an inhabitant of the seat of being governor. That's the problem. People don't read what the words mean. You are not a resident. A resident is basically one who is residing in a corporation. You are domiciled in America. You are not a domestic. A domestic means that basically you are a slave into the household. See, 4 different words. You don't know what the meanings of those 4 different words are. That's the problem with this country. I've said all along that basically if you want to know the law, go to the dictionary. Learn the word. That was even put out basically in the Bible. I expect everybody on this call tonight to have your certified mailing. You're turning your ex-con into your local, your federal district U.S. Attorney's Office tomorrow by certified mail. If you can't do that, you might as well just make out a sign and say, I am a chicken shit.
Will be done.
I'm a doubting Thomas. I don't believe anything. I'm free game. Stab me in the back. Quite a few different signs you can make up. I mean, when I go into the sheriff's office and that sheriff says right there in front of his deputies that basically I know what the hell I'm talking about, and that he will read any document that I give to him. Somebody has talked to him. Well, he came out to the house with the Secret Service one time, and basically then he was in there also talking to the Inspector General, Postal Inspector General, and the U.S. Marshals when I went into the sheriff's office. And he talked with him after that. And see, I walked out of her. I admitted that basically I was doing mail fraud, but basically I turned the tables onto them and said, hey, how can it be mail fraud if you never processed that mail delivery? How can I do fraud against a postal system, a dead man's mail system? That's what I also told him. I also told him, how come basically these corporations can get away with bulk mailing for half price compared to what the price is that an American citizen has to pay for stamps? Are they not taking up the same process? So who's doing the mail fraud? The corporations. And they're getting away with it. They're not paying postage, but they're getting the same service that basically we are for a 49-cent stamp, and they're paying maybe 15, 20 cents.
Right.
But see, I have no problem in standing up to these guys, and basically that's the thing. They know that I was right. And that's why they could turn around and tell that sheriff that I'm onto something, leave me alone. The sheriff is just waiting for me to give him the final paper to get out of the system. To tell him how he doesn't have to pay income tax. To tell him how basically he doesn't have to pay property tax. That he doesn't need to have a driver's license. That he doesn't need to have a license on his vehicle. None of that is in the contract that we have with the state or with the country. It's all under these foreign codes of law, which are not, you are not a party to those contracts. You have to volunteer into those contracts. Okay. Any other questions? I think I've rambled on long enough.
I have just a couple of minor ones. I noticed you took the word estate out of your bank. It's now just bank and trust. Is that
You're breaking up, Tom. I can't understand what you're saying.
Okay. Is this any better?
Okay,
is this
a little better.
Okay. Yeah. I noticed you took the word estate out of your bank and trust. Is that because we're getting rid of the executor of the estate?
No. We will still, basically, for the estate, that is where we will be processing our funds into the estate from the treasury.
Okay.
Using the 98 number. Okay, that goes into our estate.
Well,
okay?
I noticed
the trust basically is over there. We're going to be drawing the assets by way of the 47 individual bankers routing number from the Federal Reserve tariff tax trust account, reserve account.
Right.
Okay, so that's going into our trust.
No,
it's not really a trust. It's not really a trust. It's basically your savings account.
Right, I get that. Yes. I was just wondering why the word estate was no longer in your bank title.
Because basically I'm only operating half my bank in this process.
Okay, good. And then do we send in the manumission on a green sheet, or was that something else you're talking about?
No, I just put it on basically a 25% cotton paper.
Okay, good.
Off-color cotton paper.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I'll get this around.
And see, it takes two witnesses to basically put a charge in against anybody.
And we did that.
Okay? You're coming in as the beneficiary, the ex-foreign beneficiary, and also as the grantor. Two different individuals.
Right.
So you have your two witnesses. And even in the Bible, it says, by two you are to be known. You have your two witnessing documents out here. One is your birth certificate, and the other one is your baptismal certificate. Those are your two witnesses. And basically you have your sponsors or witnesses also on those documents. So now you have more, but the two documents are classified as your two witnesses.
Okay.
You don't need Joe Blow down the street and Ethel Burns up the street to be your two witnesses. You've got your two witnesses.
Right.
They wouldn't know what the hell they were witnessing anyway half the time. Just like going to a public notary. That's totally ridiculous. That's all under the banking or the English coded system of law. Trust and everything else out there. Basically, that's all under English law. English statutory law. That's why you see so much in the dictionaries when you go through and start looking at these words, and all of a sudden you find out, hey, this is English statutory law. Where's the American statutory law for this item? Well, basically it's not, because that item right there you're referring to is basically controlled out of England. So all these basically courts and everything else, they're foreign courts, just like what 18 U.S.C. talks about. They've taken a bar oath of office, and basically that's a banker's oath of office, and basically they're swearing allegiance to the Temple Bank out of London town, England. That's being protected by the Queen of England and her statutory laws. These judges and everything and prosecutors are scared to death of the people when they know and understand the real constitutional laws in this country. And you don't have to do too terribly much. Just throw a piece of paper down and basically say, you have now been noticed. Because basically, we will turn this over to, when we turn this in, these mastermind foreign ex-con men over to the U.S. Marshals and to the U.S. attorneys. They're going to be coming down and basically, like all of my traffic tickets, they will come down here and basically they will go through that local court and see what the fraud has been done and the harm caused. And they can turn around and bring charges against these people. That's when they will come into basically giving us our protections. But not until we do our job first of turning this ex-con mastermind in. And then when they come and see you, you turn in all the other mobsters, con men that you have out here. Okay, any other questions? Come on.
I guess not, Patrick. You've told us pretty clearly what we have to do. I've sent mine in, so I'm going to learn those 2 extra documents very thoroughly, so when they visit, I can handle it.
Well, you just hand those out. You don't have to sit there and explain them, Tom.
That's okay.
That's what I'm telling you. You give them, you read and understand it, okay?
Right.
You don't have to modify it or anything like that.
I'm not going to. No.
All you have to do is print them out and hand them out.
Will do.
I've got a question for you, Pat.
Yeah.
What would you do in a case where you got baptized and they produced 2 baptismal certificates, one in the upper lowercase and then the other one in all caps? So it appears that they made an executor letter as well as a living beneficiary. Wouldn't that be a conflict of
I would go with the one that has the capital first letter, small letters.
And then when asked about it, the priest would not sign the one with all caps letters. He would the upper lowercase. So evidently, he must have known.
Yeah, right there. Basically, it's telling you that all cap name person is a dead man.
Mm.
You can't baptize the dead.
He knows.
Logic? Isn't that logical?
Yep.
Basically, that's been
Well, I would
a
imagine
standard
it'd be
item
more
out there.
logical.
Huh?
Well, I'd imagine it'd be more logical not to issue a dead man's baptismal certificate. That seems illogical in itself.
Yeah, whoever filled that paper out, basically the secretary or something, she screwed up. And right there, you said that the priest wouldn't sign it.
But he would sign the back of it, though.
But basically,
Interesting enough.
if that was a Roman Catholic document, basically, you go with the one that has the all capital, or the capital first letter, small letter, on the thing. Because it's got to be a living person. And that's your son of man. Or son of God, whatever.
So if the upper lowercase is living beneficiaries, then wouldn't the grantor be all lowercase then?
No.
Therefore,
The
we
grantor is just your first name. First and middle name. Whatever your parents gave to you. You can always change your last name. Right now you're operating under the family or the tribe of whatever. But you can always set up a new tribe or a new family. And basically, once you get into witness protection, you might want to change your last name. I forget what the movie was, Fire with Fire or something. Basically, it's a pretty modern one to where this firefighter out in L.A. basically witnessed this one mobster out there killing this one shop owner, and basically went in the witness protection program. Well, he kept his first name, but they gave him a new last name. Why? Because they couldn't take his first name away from him. That was given to him by his parents. That they could give him a new last name out here. Now, when he died, he can say, okay, I want to be buried in the family plot over here. But when you're dead, you really don't give a shit. You're dead. Anybody have any problems with that?
Nope.
Well, it sounds like the all caps would be the estate.
No,
And,
you're mixing and matching things. You're not understanding this whole damn process. The all cap name, like on your Social Security card, and basically like on your driver's license, it's last name first, and then comma, your first and middle name, all capitalized. That is a mortmain account, a dead man's account out there. And that is where your executor is at. He's an ex. He's dead. So he's an ex-con. You are an inheritor out here under your birth certificate. You have a right of claim of an inheritance that is being held in that treasury of the country. That is not an estate. You set up your own private estate when you draw the funds out of the treasury, your inheritance, and you put it into your private estate. So you have your all capital name on your bank, your private bank. But your private bank is private. It's not out here operating in commerce. It's not operating for profit. You get out here and you try and operate for profit in the commercial world, and you're going to be taken down. Why would you want to do that when you've got unlimited access when you come out of this system the right way? Why would you want to go and commit treason against the country?
Patrick, how could they trick us into doing that?
Yes, you got tricked. Now get out the door. I gave you your walking paper.
But as long as we don't register and as long as we don't knowingly contract with them, is there any other way that they could trick us back into the system?
That's up to you.
Yeah, by you giving acknowledgement to them as being they are valid, a valid government or a valid court. So if you get out of the system, why would you ever be going into court anyway? Unless you caused harm or damage.
I want to know something, Patrick.
Yes.
Is the story true that Blackbeard made you walk the plank to get out of the system?
Well, basically, that's probably true because basically you died. The sharks got you.
So it's his way to get you out and take over your inheritance.
Yeah, but what the hell has that got to do with anything that I'm talking about here? Okay? Peter Pan has a better deal. Peter Pan and Captain Hook basically have more understanding about the system than basically what Blackbeard, basically watching that movie. All that basically you come out of Blackbeard movie is basically they were hoarding the funds in caches all across the Caribbean. Just like they're doing with our Social Security accounts, hoarding them down in Puerto Rico. And
well, that's why I
Mortimer
said
accounts.
He made people walk the plank so he can get their inheritances.
No, they can't. If you're dead, you can't get your inheritance.
No, you don't. You're dead. Blackbeard did.
He's not there.
Yes, they could claim your account after 10 years down there in Puerto Rico.
That's right.
Okay, I said that before. But I'm not talking about that. We're not going to let them claim those accounts because we're getting out of the system. So we're going to claim them back.
Got a question for you, Pat.
Yeah.
How does one join the Confederacy?
What?
Why do you want to be in the Confederacy? Why not just be an American? Okay? Why try and be something you're not?
Confederacy's got
Confederacy? The first three letters in Confederacy is another fucking con game.
Constitution, too.
Huh?
The word Constitution.
Yes. but it was a valid con, okay? Constructive government, okay? It was valid because we, the people, authorized that. We, the people, did not authorize the driver's license.
How about the Confederation of the United States, the document before the Constitution?
It was basically out there, and basically they found flaws in it. That's why they had to come up with the Constitution. Okay, because that was basically 100% rule. They had to have 100% of the states or the colonies in agreement before anything would be done. That's why basically George Washington, they ran out of funds because they couldn't get the constitutional government to support them. That's why they had to set up the government to have a 2/3 majority in the process. But see, that is for the government. That is not for the people. The Constitution only basically put certain things in there to protect our rights from the government.
Well, I hope you're right about money being down there in Puerto Rico, because Blackbird sure took a lot of it.
It is all down there in Puerto Rico. Not all of it. Some of it's in state treasuries, like your driver's license, like your certificate of state title to your property, like your certificate of state title to your vehicle. Those funds are held in state banks, okay, in the state banking system and insurance system in the state. That's why there's a comptroller in each state. But you can't access it. You have to turn it over to the prosecutors and have them go and prosecute it out of the system. And you have to believe that the law, the real law, is still there. If you don't have belief, you don't have anything.
Well, I think Blackbeard fought the British. He hated
Let's
the
get
British.
off this Blackbeard shit, please. Okay? It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
He is very key to it.
I am not fucking Blackbeard. Blackbeard ain't here right now, okay? I'm telling you what the shit to do right now, okay? Forget Blackbeard. What are you trying to do? Destroy what I'm trying to put out here to the people? By putting all this bum shit out? Are you a plant or what?
Nope, I'm telling
Or
the
are you
truth.
just fucking dumb?
I'm telling the truth. That guy was trying to help us, because after the people landed on Plymouth Rock and things like that, they didn't have anything. So Blackbeard, they came along later and found out what was going with monies, and the Spanish were hoarding all the gold coins and taking it to Spain. And
no, Blackbeard was working for the Queen of England or for the monarchy of England. He was given a free rein. He was given a license to go out and pilfer the Spanish mains. Okay? You want the real fucking truth? Ask me, and I'll tell you. Blackbeard was not for the American people whatsoever. Okay? Blackbeard was working for the fucking English.
Mark.
And then he stole from the English. That's why they ended up killing him.
Exactly. He found out the truth.
No, he didn't find out the truth. He was like a lot of these attorneys and everything that have been sent to jail because they were going and basically hoarding the money that the government was hoarding from the people, and they wanted their cut, and basically the government found out about it and said, "You're going to jail." There's a whole bunch of Blackbeards running around this damn country in the court system. And a lot of them have gone to jail, and basically they were put into office by these foreign controllers too. But they got greedy. The people in the colony, they had a blessing. They were supported by the Indians in this country when they came over here. They just didn't know how basically blessed they were. And then they took advantage of it by trying to kill off the Indians, making enemies of them, because already in this country, the Knights Templars had brought a treasury out of Jerusalem over here into America. The Cherokee Nation had control over Fort Knox, which was one of King Solomon's gold mines. The city of gold basically is stored out in the west, in the Western Depository. They brought up the gold out of the Incas and the Aztecs up into North America here, protected away from the Spanish that were trying to loot it, into territory that was not under any foreign European control at that point in time. It was like a no man's land, except for the Indians. And then the white European shitheads that came over here started trying to rape and pillage the Indians that were the protectors of the treasuries. Who gave the money to buy the Louisiana Purchase? $80 million in gold. The Cherokee Nation.
Wow.
Was that gold? Because you see, Blackbeard operated on North Carolina.
Not Blackbeard! Okay?
He had something to do with this. I'm telling you.
Tom, mute this shithead out. Okay?
Done.
Anybody else have any questions that don't relate to Blackbeard?
How did you say again? One, join the Confederation, the Articles of Confederation, have the United States of America on a passport?
You get out of the system first, and then you will get a completely different passport under the Witness Protection Program. But you have to expatriate away from being a foreign English shithead by revoking or disavowing the foreign beneficiary position and turning in your ex-con executor. We all know that the Social Security account is being controlled out of England. And we all know that there's statutory laws both in England and here in America about mortmain accounts. The mortmain accounts couldn't be held in London town, England. They had to be held down in the Caribbean under a territory, a non-state territory, and basically they put them into Puerto Rico. Because Puerto Rico is not controlled by the statutory laws of England or of America. That way they can get away with mortmain accounts.
I just want to make a comment that don't be offended if it has something to do with what that other caller was saying, but prior to the Caribbean being a placement or deposit, the pirates did operate early on in the sink ports of the English Channel. They had several ports there that they were called sink, C-I-N-Q-U-E, and they had to hold their money. That's how the City of London was established, was booty from those pirates that kept it in that internal City of London, C-I-T-I. But that's my understanding.
Yes, and basically that's also how, basically like the church, the Anglican Church in England, which is controlled by the Queen of England, basically they were operating with mortmain accounts also, hoarding the money away from the king. The churches were.
Okay.
And then basically the Queen came in and took control of those churches and basically shut down those mortmain accounts and brought all that gold back into the treasury, but then they got hoodwinked into basically going with the bankers, with the Rothschilds and shit, operating out of London town.
Right.
Under King John or whatever the hell it was, with the bankers.
Right, I know
See,
there was another...
St. Patrick ran the damn bankers out of Ireland back in 3-something. Okay?
Right.
The Romans basically ran the bankers out of a lot of these places. St. Patrick's father was the proctor over England. St. Patrick became the proctor over Ireland, protecting the people from the bankers. The bankers were kept out of Ireland for a long, long time. The bankers were kept out of this country for a long time. The only shit ahead that's on one of the damn dollar bills out here is that shithead Thomas Jefferson, or not Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, that set up the secondary department of the Treasury so that they could operate with the private bankers, creating the money because they couldn't get the Congress to basically do their damn job.
Right. And then England went downhill when the Saxons got taken over by the Normans. That was another division or another banker move or whatever, if
yes.
You can comment on that.
Yeah. Cornwallis, but basically I don't need to comment. That's past history, okay?
Yeah, I know. I'm
dealing with present day. How do we get out of the system right now?
Yeah, this is working. I'm letting people know also that the write-up on the statutes at large, volume 15, 249, is really good. It fits right in with all the other stuff. He said it. You mentioned it earlier. I just wanted to re-say it. Make sure you know that, because... That'd be another document you should print out and basically hand out to these people, too. Right. Because a lot of people don't know that there's statutes out there. Yeah. They've never really read the expatriation, and they think that you're expatriating away from being a United States of America citizen. You're not. You basically have been claimed as a foreign citizen. And the United States, 1871, copyrighted, is a corporation, a foreign corporation. Right. And then all these states, basically state ofs out here, all capital, state of Iowa, state of New Hampshire, state of, all these damn items are basically now a copyright, foreign copyrighted, state government-controlled organization. Exactly.
constructive.
You have it really well written in the box at the bottom of the page. Everybody look at the box at the bottom of the page. It's called New Write-Up of Statutes at Large, Volume 15, Section 249, Rev 1. And
see, I sent some of these documents into these attorneys and stuff like that, into the judges there at the federal courthouse. They were just waiting for me to do the final item of surrendering and basically doing a manumission and disavowing being a foreign beneficial owner and surrendering the ex-con. And now it's a done deal.
Yeah. The whole write-up.
It can't be rebutted. Okay.
Yeah, right. Anyhow, for you folks that are listening, it's in the Treasury account files. It's November 22nd. So just remember President Kennedy. Just go down to November 22nd. They're there. In case they're not up at the top where you don't see them. If you don't see them recent, go down to November 22nd.
Well, I think I posted a more recent statute at large there, 249, chapter 249.
Okay.
It's
probably in a zip file, I think. It's probably in that zip file you had. All right, that's all I had to say.
Okay.
Just
Thanks, Steve.
kind of giving you everybody else a reminder. And like you said, that's a good document to have or hand out and know it real well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to mute out.
You get hung up on too much of the stuff from the past, okay? You're supposed to learn from it, but basically don't get hung up on it, okay? You're just supposed to learn and move on and protect yourself from what's going on right now, okay? That's really what the whole process is to understand and bring it forward. Okay? You can't live in the past. You have to live in the future. But you have to know about the past somewhat of what took place. But there's more good stuff in the damn Bible with Moses, Daniel, and Jesus. If you read and understand those items, it's telling you all the same thing that I'm trying to tell you right now. Jesus came to show us the way and the path, nothing more. He is not a redeemer. You have to do this yourself. This is all done on an individual basis. Even in Moses' time, it had to be done on an individual basis. If the people individually did not mark their door in red, they did not get to come out of Egypt. There was a lot of people that did not get to come out of Babylon when the Medes-Persian allowed the people to go back to Israel. There was a bunch that stayed there. And basically, then they got destroyed when Babylon went down. Just like Jesus tried to do an exodus out of Jerusalem, out of Israel, coming out of basically the Babylon, Israeli Babylon, in his time. They stayed around. And basically, then the Romans came in and destroyed them. Just like what's going to happen here in this country. If you don't come out of a system, they're going to come in and they're going to destroy everybody that hasn't come out of a system.
Yep.
Okay? So it's up to you. You get out and basically, but you can start putting this information out to your family and friends and basically anybody else out there as a general notice. Let them read these documents. Maybe they will wake up. A lot of them probably won't, because most of them don't know how to read. Eyes that see that do not see. Ears that hear but do not hear. And then you have the doubting Thomases, the non-believers.
Well, I think it says somewhere in there that God or the Lord's going to have harsh judgment on the churches because they didn't teach this stuff that you're teaching.
Oh, yeah. They're going to come down big time on them.
501c3 churches.
Yeah. And all these damn governments. There's a bunch of attorneys and legislators and judges right now that are starting to bail. Because they fully realize now that they've been committing fraud against the people, and they don't want the people rising up against them like what happened in the French Revolution. Now, supposedly, we've already got a whole bunch of guillotines out here in this country.
Yep.
30,000?
And basically, the people will turn upon one another in the process. And you have to get out of the system and basically then out away from the area, because basically all these major cities and everything are going to be a lockdown prison prison area, and basically that will be where a lot of mass extermination takes place. Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Oh, it's a good call tonight.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Hopefully this puts the kibosh onto it, and then hopefully if I don't hear something tomorrow after my stuff gets in there, or basically I'll be hearing from them on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay, real good.
Very good.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Patrick.
Okay.
You take care. Okay.
Great.
Good night.
Good call, buddy. Thanks.
Night.